Welcome back to Four Bears Sports, where we take a deep dive into all things sports. With me today, as always, we have Brant, Jake, and we have a very special guest who has actually graced us with his time today. Part-time Primmy is on the pod. Part-time Primmy is
Wait,
on
he
the pod.
made it! He made it!
He made
He
it.
made it!
He made it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Part-time.
What he didn't show up for was golf on Saturday, but we won't get into that.
Guys, I almost
there's
slept.
Wait,
We didn't get into
Not
it
for
like
real.
7 times throughout all of Friday. It's like, what?
There is an extra face here with us today. Let's take a moment to welcome our boy Sal, who will be getting interviewed today. So,
Come on
Sal,
now.
Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
AKA Zach Shorts from the Detroit Tigers.
Pretty much. Same build.
okay. So, Sal, give us a rundown of what you do with the Detroit Tigers.
So I have an OnlyFans. Link is in the description. No, I'm kidding.
He does speed picks, guys.
So my position, the official title is scoreboard assistant. So I work in the scoreboard department, which people get it very confused. They don't understand really like why it's called that, but essentially it's literally just because all our work goes up on the scoreboard. It's pretty self-explanatory. So basically, I help their production department with our in-house show. We have a bunch of different promotional games in between innings. I help with those. I man the microphones. I man the microphone for Play Ball Kid. And then on occasion, they'll need help in the control room, so I'm also in there switching animations on the board, running the replay system at times. On occasion, I'm editing videos, like this past week, actually. Jamer Candelario, he's a Cub again. He was a Tiger for like 4 years. I made a welcome back video that we're going to be running either tomorrow or Tuesday, which will be pretty cool because it's the first one I've done. But yeah, I'm either editing videos or I'm helping the in-house show in one way or another, and on occasion I'm even helping with player interviews, whether it's our players or the opposing team. So
Awesome.
That's it.
And so now we're gonna dive into some questions, and we'll start with, here we go. We're going Brant, we're going Jake, we're going Primmy, we're going me. Okay,
So-
sound good?
Let's do
Of
it.
all your interviews, who was your favorite person to interview?
are we going Tigers or all time, just in general?
Every person you've interviewed.
Every person I've interviewed, that's a tough one. I would say I'll do both. The opposing team for sure was Salvador Perez, mainly because for the longest time I did not like him, and the only real reason was he killed us, and he was a division rival. He's getting up there in age. He's I think low 30s, but he still hits the crap out of the ball, and he always just tended to ruin games for us. But he was super friendly, came up to me personally and other people in the production team. He's like, "What's up, Salvador Perez?" Like we didn't already know. He was taking shots of what was it, Cuban coffee or some type of Spanish coffee. It's like a very tiny espresso shot to wake you up, but like it smelled. It was really strong. But he was just really friendly, really smiley. We were interviewing him about Miggy. And then on the flip side of things for the Tigers, I'd say the favorite Tiger to interview is, probably either Zach McKinstry or Torkelson. Both of them are very friendly, very humble guys, very young guys too. Very smiley. Like typically when we interview a player, we call it getting big leagued, but they're typically like an hour late, minimum. And like Zach has been, to both interviews I've worked, he's been like 4 minutes late, and he's like profusely apologizing, like it's the end of the world. We're like, if this is the standard, we're chilling. Like, but both of them are very friendly, very smiley. Really like to give their input, but they're very engaging. And one thing that you really learn about this job is like, you see these people and you think like they're celebrities or even like god tier. They're just people. They're just people that live their lives, and you get to really like kind of learn them at a personal level a little bit. So I would say Tigers, McKinstry, opposing team, Salvador Perez.
Sweet.
Love it. All right. Well, how did you get into camera work? I've known you for the longest, so how did you become an employee for the Tigers? Where did you start? How did you get here?
It really started when I was very little. I liked camera work a lot, making like small little stupid films on YouTube and stuff. I made like an episode with my sister where we shot each other with like Nerf guns and stuff. It didn't have like a specific script or anything, but the original idea was I wanted to be like a movie director or creator of some kind. So I was looking at different colleges with like a film program of some kind, and that's really hard to find in a generic type of college. Typically, if you want to get into that sort of thing, you got to go to like film school, and it's outrageously priced. And so I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna check out this my community college, try to get my basics done, and go from there and see if I can piggyback somewhere, go to a different mainstream college to really hammer what I'm looking for. And I talked to an advisor, and God knew what he was doing, but the advisor that I had just happened to be a former news reporter, and I was telling her what I wanted to do, and she slapped, like she already had a packet printed like on her desk, but she slapped a packet of their broadcasting program and explained how it works. There's a TV station right in the basement. They have like a top 3 or top 5 broadcasting program in the country, and they're just a community college, which is really impressive to me. And so she sold me on it right away. And so I got my hands on cameras and how a control room works. And I knew I probably didn't want to get into news, but I would if I had to, just to get my foot in the door. But sports and broadcasting go hand in hand. And so sports is a huge hobby of mine. I'm a huge sports nerd. And so I tied those two together. And my uncle knew like a minor league hockey team owner that's right in my hometown. Talked to the owner. The owner talked to the respected boss at the time. They got me in. No interview at all. They just took me in. I got my hands on cameras right away. Learned rather quickly, enhanced my skills, and then my boss worked for a minor league team, the Loons. They're a high farm team for the Dodgers in Midland. They took me in as well. No interview. And I got more experience in baseball and how that control room worked. Did that for 2 years or so with both teams, ish, give or take. And one of my bosses had told me about a website with all these professional sports teams jobs you can find any state. And so I would constantly just search Tigers, Red Wings, because I had experience in both baseball and hockey, and just refresh every other day, every other week. And a position popped up that I actually felt very qualified for. And even though I only had an associate's, I applied anyway. Didn't expect anything, but like a month later, got a call back, or I think it was 2 months, got a call back, and I'm here now. Not exactly doing what I want, but I got my foot in the door. I'm with the production team, and hopefully can slowly maneuver my way to where I want to be. But foot's in the door, so
That's all you need.
yeah,
That's awesome.
for sure.
So, obviously, this is Miggy's last year, his last ride. How cool has it been to see, I feel like every game Miggy just passed freaking Barry Bonds for hits or something. Like, something amazing's going on every day. How cool has that been?
It's been phenomenal. It's crazy to me that I'm even in this position, because for the longest time I've looked up to Miggy. As a Tigers fan, I feel like most Tigers fans do, and people in general. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, no question about it. Arguably the best right-handed hitter in baseball all time, and like I'm seeing this in person. Like he's like 10 feet in front of me sometimes. Like there was a game I worked recently. If I'm not helping with the in-house show, I help the video crew out. So I sit in the opposing dugout with one of our video cameras. Excuse me. And get like just B-roll, just record typically offense. Defense is a little harder to predict because the ball can go anywhere at any given time, and it's harder to capture. But obviously, if you record a batter, ball's going to him every time. So this couple games ago, it was a night game. They gave me the opportunity to record a game, and Miggy was playing. Obviously, I think he was batting cleanup, and he had like a 3-hit night or a 2-hit night, and he passed Tony Gwynn, and I got footage of that. Like that means the world to me. Like he's a childhood hero of mine. I've met him a couple times. He's came up to me and said hi. Like both times I'm like trying not to crap my pants and also not cry just because like it doesn't even feel real. I want to ask him for a picture, but I also need to be professional. You know, I'm in a position where not a lot of people can be, and I don't want to abuse that, but it's been incredible. Like I don't even think it's gonna hit fully until his last game. Like it still feels like a dream. I've done this for baseball's been going on for like 4 months, 5 months, and it still doesn't feel real. Every day doesn't feel real, but it's meant the world to me. So
It's awesome.
That is very cool. So going back to a point that you made before, you were talking about how you're not exactly at the position you want to be. Where do you like dream job? Where do you envision yourself, either within the Detroit Tigers, I guess crew, or anywhere else?
the dream position is to be a camera operator for a professional sports team, or the network. The current network right now that runs Red Wings, Tigers, and Pistons, I think, filed for bankruptcy. So I don't exactly know where that's going to fall under. But pushing that aside, given that out of the way, if that wasn't the case, it'd be either for a professional team or the professional network, because something that I just personally enjoy, like camera work's my passion. I'll watch games, try to get ideas on how to track balls better, or in hockey track the puck better, or frame your shot for a better action shot. And like my proudest moment by a mile is when I worked for the Saginaw Spirit. They're an OHL team back in my hometown, and I saw, since it helps to know the sport because you can predict stuff, kind of sorta. And so I'd known enough about hockey, but I saw a play happen before it happened. We were in overtime, and we were shorthanded, and the timer was just about to run out for a penalty, so our guy was just about to come out of the box. And I saw the puck slide in front of the box as he was coming out, and I knew he was scoring. There was no one in front of him. He was our best player by a mile. I knew he was scoring. I framed up the shot. It was super clean. He scored. Crowd went crazy. I got the celebration. And a few months later, he gets drafted by the Winnipeg Jets, and on social media, they used my shot as his draft announcement. Like the final shot, there were different shots in there, and a few of them might have been mine, but the final shot, as they announced it, was my shot of the goal and the celebration, and then boom, whole Perfetti, Winnipeg Jets, and like that means the world to me. It gives me chills.
That's so
And
cool.
yeah, and like my dream scenario is to like capture some historic moment, like a game winning or a walk off like home run to win the World Series or something crazy, or just I'd even love to work a Super Bowl. I'd love to dabble in football. Just like I would love to be able to capture history, and like when people go back and see some historic sports moment, be like, that's my shot. Like you can see that from that angle because I got it. And that's the dream scenario by a mile. Working for some professional network or a team, but to be a camera operator and capture games, that's where my passion lies, and that's what I love doing, for sure.
I got another
Gotcha,
question.
gotcha.
You mentioned that you go down kind of by the visitor dugouts every once in a while. I'll insert the picture here, but you got a pretty up close and personal picture of Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
What's that been like? Have you had any conversations with opposing players? I know they're obviously locked in on the game, but has anybody taken the time to kind of chit chat with you while you're down there?
Typically no. They typically, so like the media section of the dugout, like they know is the media room. It even has like its own like literally full size door, even though there's not a full frame. So they don't typically go around there that often, but where I shoot, the on deck circle is like right in front of me. So the game that I captured, Miggy passing Tony Gwynn, I believe, could be wrong. Correa turned around and almost broke the camera lens. He turned around and was stretching, and he stuck his cleat like right in the camera hole. He had no idea what he was doing. But that's about as close as I can get, but they're typically locked in. I haven't had any interactions down there. I don't even know if they're allowed to talk to us. I feel like they could if they wanted to. The closest quote unquote interaction I've had is with coaches, and they're typically going through the media side to like give kids balls, signed balls, or gloves, or because there was the Angels game, there were two kids sitting right above me, and they were screaming Trout's name the whole game. It was driving me crazy, but obviously I know like you're right next to like your hero. If I was little and I was by the Tigers dugout, I'd be doing the same thing with Miggy, without a doubt. But I turned and looked to him and I was like, "Hey guys," I was like, "He's focused right now. I'm like, he might talk to you after the game, but like, give it a rest." Essentially, me trying to be as kind as I can to tell them to shut up, because they were. 1 second. My sister is calling me on Discord. Yeah, I was trying to be nice and telling them to shut up because they were like in my ear essentially. And later in the game, Trout goes and grabs a ball, and the kid's like, "Oh, he's grabbing the ball for me," and I'm thinking like, he's not grabbing a ball for you. And then he grabs another ball, and they're like, "Oh, they're grabbing two balls for us," his brother and sister. And I was like, he's not. Like it's like, relax. And I see him grab a pen and he signs them and he hands them to a coach and he points at both the kids. And sure enough, he was getting balls for him. And the coach came over and he's like, "Can you give these to the kids?" So I gave it to the kids. But that's like that's the closest interaction I've had. It is really cool though being in there. I don't know if we can talk to him just because like I work for the other team, but it's still really cool like being by the on deck circle and seeing like Ohtani's the best player in baseball by a mile, and I got 2 Ohtani bombs on video. Like it's wild. So
I heard they've been calling Zach Short Tani over there because he's had five scoreless innings pitched this year.
I think so, 4 or 5, yeah.
Kind of a jack of all trades, making Shohei Ohtani look obsolete.
Yeah, the running joke in the press box is we have Shohei Ohtani at home. You know the meme like, "Mom, can we get McDonald's?" Like we have McDonald's at home or whatever food at home. We have Shohei Ohtani at home, and he's Zach Short or
I love
Shohei
that.
Ohtani. Yeah,
That's funny.
it's crazy though because like obviously typically when you throw a position player on the mound, you're typically getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
And our pitching struggling all game, and he's throwing 69-mile-an-hour lobs, and they can't hit it, or the ump calls it a strike, and it's literally at the player's neck. But I mean, it is what it is. He's great. He's great in soft contact, and I mean it's useless innings, but it's still funny to see because anytime we're getting killed, we're like, "When's Zach Short coming out?" And funny enough, here he comes. So,
I love it.
yeah.
So, you said at the end of the day you want to be, up there filming, right? You want to be the one filming the game.
Mhm.
Which would mean more to you, filming a Detroit Tigers playoff win or Detroit Lions playoff win?
Both of which are few and far between these days. It
Mhm.
seems.
That's a really tough call. If this is given a specific scenario, if it was this season,
Mhm.
because Miggy is still playing, I would say Tigers. Any other given game, I would say Lions by a mile, just because we haven't won one in so long, and I mean the Lions, even though the Lions were actually pushing for a wild card spot towards the end of last season, screw the Seahawks, or no, it was the Rams for fumbling it. Thanks, Baker Mayfield. We've been the laughing stock of the NFL for a really long time, give or take a few other franchises. So I feel like recording a playoff win there would be huge. But if it was this season specifically with Miggy still on the roster, hands down Tigers, no hesitation.
Great question. I love that.
It's a tough one.
What's your favorite like memory you've had from this job overall?
That's a really hard one. That is a really hard one.
The thinker.
It is. Shoot.
Gosh, did you not come to this interview prepared?
No.
I don't know. I feel like it's Groundhog's Day. I feel like we're reliving a Tuesday or something.
Possibly.
No, we recorded this. No.
No.
it's kind of a jumbled combination of things, I would say. Opening day was magical. Like, I'm walking around the park. Obviously, opening day is the biggest day of the season. Typically, we have our biggest crowd, and I got so many opportunities off the rip. So I like walk in, and our video guys need help interviewing fans. There's a tailgate every year out in the front parking lot, so we're interviewing fans, asking them what opening day means to them. It's cool to just get different people's perspectives. And like, I come from a small town 2 hours away from Detroit called Saginaw, and I just happened to have my Saginaw Spirit jacket on because opening day it's like 40 degrees out, 42. I mean, it's cold, and I had a couple people ask me like, "Oh, I'm from or like tell me like, "Oh, I'm from Saginaw," like that's cool and different. And it's just weird because it feels like a small world thing. Because I'm 2 hours away. Like, you don't think you're gonna run into too many people. Like, I grew up there for the most part, and to see that was cool and just get different fans' perspectives of how long they've been a fan or how many consecutive opening days. Like, I think one fan has been to like 50 plus consecutive opening days every year. Like, just diehard fans. And after that, like, I hear like my coworker Nick, who works in the video department, he said we're gonna go to the clubhouse and get player interviews. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I need help. I'm like, I'm there, you know. And I walk in for the first time, and like, I'm seeing Tigers legends around me, like Kurt Gibson, Dan Petrie, just different people on TV, and I'm like, hold it together, hold it together. And like, I'm just seeing all the players like I've seen on TV for years, and I'm like freaking out inside. And we interviewed Torque and Riley Green, I think. And then you just see like a crowd in the corner of the clubhouse, and you're like, hmm. And we scooted our way in. Of course, it's Miggy and his locker. It's last season. All media wants to talk to him. I snuck a picture. All reporters are taking pictures of him, you know, with their phones and cameras and everything. And some guy in the clubhouse is, "Oh, you can't take pictures in here." I'm like, "Oh, sorry. I didn't delete it or anything." Well, turns out this guy is just a major douchebag, and he think he wants to control everything. So there was nothing wrong with that. But that initial, like, seeing Miggy, I think I was like 4 feet from him for the first time, was probably the best moment. But like, the other 3 interactions I've had with Miggy, including like celebrating different stuff he won on the field, and then he like came up to me briefly before going back to the dugout during the game, was super cool. I would say it's a combination of every interaction with Miggy plus being able to record him play and record history, I would say.
Nice.
So
nice.
lucky. That's awesome.
I've kind of got a random question that you
Mhm.
might not know the answer to. Who has thrown out the best first pitch that you have seen?
That's a tough one, actually, because a lot of them have been pretty bad. As I feel like a lot of first pitches are, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I feel like it's not that hard, but yet again, everyone's looking at you, so there's definitely pressure. I would say right now it's a tie between Donovan Edwards, running back from Michigan. He did it a few weeks ago. I briefly got to say hi to him. I was standing next to him on the field until he walked up, which was cool, but he was taking pictures of fans and stuff. And then, other than that, we had like a Miss Michigan beauty pageant winners from like different counties.
And she was slinging.
And this one girl threw a laser, like heat.
Okay.
Not only was it like painted on the corner, but she threw gas. So it's a close call. I'm biased, obviously, because I'm a Michigan fan too. Donovan Edwards was pretty good, but hers was like, I was like, oh, like she did a whole wind up and everything, laser, straight to the plate. So yeah,
Nice.
Side note of you mentioned Michigan. How are we
Mhm.
feeling about the college football season?
12-0 college football playoff appearance again.
Wow.
That glaze is
There we go
crazy
again.
right there.
No, in all seriousness, like we've been to the playoffs twice now and got slammed by Georgia and then absolutely choked against TCU. We should have never lost that game. I think.
Debatable, but yeah.
I think.
No, they choked.
I think. I don't always. I try to not get my hopes up because college football is so ticky tacky. I feel like we're gonna be good. I feel like we'll compete, but I'm not gonna actually make any realistic predictions. I feel like we do have a good chance to beat Ohio State again, but there's so much hype for our team and in general, like college football in general. I need it. Like I need air. I love football so much, and the atmosphere is one of one, especially just it. Like I don't even care what stadium it is. A packed house and a passionate college football atmosphere. There is nothing like it, and so I need it bad. I think Michigan will be good, but I'm excited.
Tell you what, the game looks crazy. Like in either house, the game looks insane.
In 2021, we were on a what was it, 11-year losing streak to Ohio State. The year we finally broke that streak, I had tickets in my cart for like I think 700 total because I was gonna take my dad and I didn't pull the trigger. One because it was freezing, it was snowing, but it's a pretty penny and we've gotten smacked every game I've seen, and so I'm like I don't want to spend $700 if we're gonna get hammered again. And of course that was the game we won, but it is what it is. It's got to be a crazy atmosphere. I plan on going this year. I'm gonna do everything that I can to be there, but it's got to be like top 3 atmosphere in college football.
100%. 100%. Well, sir.
All right.
We appreciate your
I
time.
gotta do one more thing. One more thing before we
all
go.
right.
Oh, part-time thinks he has priority here.
He's got
Crazy.
rights.
No,
Do you think you have rights or something?
This might piss you off a little bit, but we're gonna do
Oh boy.
a start bench cut of the 3 best Tigers of all time. We're gonna go
Ooh.
Miggy,
Uh-huh.
Hank Greenberg, and Justin Verlander, all in their prime, all in the Tigers.
Ooh.
Well, one stayed.
You know, there's a little bad blood between Verlander and the Tigers. I can't lie.
I mean, but you can't blame the man. He was there for what, 15 years?
No, I can't. But the constant shade he throws our way is getting really annoying. So I would say start Miggy, bench Hank, and cut Verlander.
Wow.
Toughy.
Wow.
That's
But
recency bias.
it is recency bias. No, it is recency bias. But there's also we were supposed to interview him for Miggy, and he flaked.
Oh, he's just not about it, I guess.
No.
Hey, I've heard a lot
Yeah.
of reports say that Verlander's a drama queen, man.
He thinks this is all speculation, but it's everything that I've heard. He thinks he's smarter than everybody. He's the biggest brain in the room. He's the most talented guy in the room, which granted, he's 40 years old and still dealing on the mound. He is very good. But they're kind of like Miggy could be cockiest son of a gun if he really wanted to be. But the thing that everyone says about him, and it's very true, is he's super humble. He plays the game every day. He could go 0 for 4 one day. He's still smiling the next day, swinging the bat, trying to do what he can for the team. And I can respect some cockiness because sometimes, you like a little flair. But his, like Verlander's, I feel like comes with a little bit of arrogance. So just with everything that I've seen and heard. So that's the only reason. Granted, if we push that outside of the way, Hank might get the boot just because Verlander was dealing. I mean, he's thrown, I think, 2 no-hitters with us, 1 no-hitter, like a few
Pretty good at the baseball.
a few one-hitter games. Like, he's nasty, but we'll keep Hank around just because Verley's been a little diva recently. So it's a tough one.
Sure.
It's a good one. I like it.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, thank you for coming on. I know
course,
we really
thanks for having
appreciate having you. I think we'd love to have you back on when we get deeper into college football season. But
Oh, for
Huge
sure.
round of applause.
yeah, thank you, sir.
A
Very
lot of
much.
claps, baby.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We wish you luck with your future endeavors with the Tigers. Hopefully you
Thank you.
make it up someday. We know we're all cheering for you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Nick, take it away, baby.
Please remember to like, subscribe, comment. We read all comments and use Four Bears Sports at checkout at shankygolf.com for 15% off your next purchase. Thank you and good night, everyone.
Not
I love you.